What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start? You know it. You know it. Who's in the building? Who's in the building? Man, we got a lot of boxing to talk about. Wrapping up just this weekend's festivities. David Pacheco, uh, he got a victory, but it was a hard fought where he was even put down in the fight. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight. Kevin performed well. And let's see where both fighters end up from here. We have a lot of interesting news to break down. And we're going to be talking about this Naoya Inoue fight right here with Alan David Picasso out there in Riyadh season. And I like this matchup a lot, but even more, I like the opponent. I believe that would give Naoya Inoue the best fight and the best run for his money, only if this fight could happen. All that and more. Stick around. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and let's hop right into this video. Ah, what's up, guys? What's up? Yeah. Damn, my baby right up here, man. She's too distracting. She's too distraction for me. I gotta put it down. I gotta change the screen. She, man, damn. I can't be with a girl though that got more ink in her body than me though. I'd have to go get more tattoos. Nah. Yo, so fight fans. Interesting enough, one of the biggest fights that I think is gonna be happening is this Naoya Inoue fight with Alan David Picasso. And we're gonna break it down. Naoya Inoue has a record of 31 fights with 27 big ways by knockout, and Alan David Picasso is not far behind. He has 32 fights, right, but 17 ways by knockout. So he actually has one fight more. Naoya Inoue is number one across the board. As you can see up there, where it has that little black globe, that's worldwide. He's number one worldwide and for Japan. As you can see, Japan right here. Bam. Right? Then he is number one, David Picasso, for Mexican fighters in the 122-pound weight division. He is currently Naoya Inoue's WBC number one mandatory for that belt right there. So they're going to be running it right now in Riyadh. And I like this fight in many different ways. But you know, what's different here about Alan David Picasso? Like, here, let me show you a clip. And I'm also gonna look. Wait a minute. Uh Before we get into that, right? Alan David Picasso is good, in his own right. I think as you know, the men in the division that are left, because Naoya Inoue has basically cleaned out that 122-pound weight division. So what we have to do is just in a realistic sense, who is the best person, the next person up that can challenge Naoya the Monster Inoue? And as we all know, coming up the ladder right behind Naoya Inoue is probably going to be one of the biggest showdown matches, which is like Junto Nakatoni against Naoya Inoue. He just recently vacated his belts and is moving up. Now, that fight right there is a future fight, a massive showdown. But before we get there, Naoya Inoue has to get past Alan David Picasso. You know, and when you think about it, right? Look, um, Alan David Picasso, right? He's 32, 17 knockouts, right? Naoya Inoue, he's 31 with 27 knockouts, right? And Naoya Inoue and Alan David Picasso got a big challenge in front of him. He's coming against a strong champion in Naoya Inoue. Alan David Picasso, what's different between him and all Naoya Inoue's previous victims? It seems like they all end up in the same place. Some of them look bewildered, legendary fights. But we want a big fight like Junto. That's the fight that we want, or even moving up in weight, and challenging Nick Ball. That could be another fight, or an epic fight against Tank Davis. I don't know what's next for Naoya Inoue, but what I do know is that the man will be ready. He will be ready. And this is the guy that's next. This is not an easy task by no stretch of the imagination. Naoya the Monster Inoue is putting up his 4 belts, 5 with the Ringside Magazine, right? He's putting up a record 6 times in a row. He didn't take any breaks. Like say, I'll move up in this weight. The belts are not on the line like Saul. Like Saul would leave his belts outside, double parked, and go in someone else's weight division and go fight. Naoya Inoue has never done that. He has the responsibility of his weight division. He's in that weight division. He takes care of business in that weight division. He's not jumping around taking all these fights that don't have title implication or history behind it. This man, he can't be bought. It's world title fights or nothing. Since his 6th professional fight when he obtained a world title, he's been on a title run. Every fight from there on in was, I think it's what now? I lost track. What is this? Is 26, 27 consecutive world title fight in a row? In a row. His last 5 fights have been for 5 belts. His last 5 fights were for 5 belts on the line, 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 5 belts on the line. Because I'm including the ring, right? We got to start including this ring, man. It's a 4-belt era, but a lot of people value this ring magazine. So let's give it a little, let's bring it along. What do you guys, what I mean? What are we doing? Are we counting it or not? Because apparently when we get in conversations, no, the ring is a real belt. Real belt? Well, then we got 5 belts. Does it only work when it's convenient or what? So, that's 5 fucking belts. 5 defenses. He's going on his 6. Now, when it comes to this fight against Alan David Picasso, he is truly daring to be great. He is truly stepping in the fire, and I got to commend him. I got to admit, he might be outmatched, outgunned, but he's in this fight. Alan David Picasso got more than a puncher's chance here. Slightly more than a puncher's chance to beat Naoya Inoue. He's an undefeated kid. He doesn't know how to lose. Now I get it. When you look at Alan David Picasso's resume, no real big, name yells out. No real big name yells out at all. But in boxing, this is what's so interesting about boxing. Tell me how many people actually thought that Roman Cardenas was going to knock down Naoya the Monster Inoue. Go. I don't think anybody thought that. Now, Luis Pantera Nari, I can't say that a lot of people didn't think that. Because Luis Pantera Nari is a knockout artist. He knocks out 90. He has like a 90% knockout ratio, some shit like that. Or high 80s now. I haven't checked in on him recently, but I remember his knockout ratio is extremely high. He can bang. So Luis Pantera Nari was different than Roman Cardenas knocking him down. So anything can happen in a fight. That's what I'm saying. Now, Naoya Inoue, yes, battle tested. The way he rose up off that canvas and took over in that fight, the adjustments that he made, those are the kind of things that you have to experience with your fighter. You won't know if he's built like that in sparring, where your fighter's comfortable or your fighter's not comfortable, but he's not really fighting to the best of his ability either. The lights ain't on, the wife ain't sitting there in the crowd, and the fans ain't cheering and sparring. So on fight night, you have a different type of fighter. And as a coach, the only way you could learn certain of these things is in the moment, experience. That's the best. You can't buy experience. You have to earn it, fight by fight. So Alan David Picasso, yes, he's been in some good fights. Has he ever faced the type of fighter like Naoya Inoue? No, no. Now, throughout my history, that I've always like I pay attention to subtle things. Naoya the Monster Inoue, right? A lot of his opponents, and I mean a lot, at least the ones that were brave enough and man enough to come back and talk about him. See, the bad thing to do with this guy is to stay quiet because you're not alerting anybody of who he is as a fighter. Many fighters going into the fight with Naoya Inoue, they looked at him. He was like a babyface assassin. They were like, yeah, right. He don't look like much. And with clothes on, appearance just standing there, you might get the wrong impression. But shit, on fight night, they said every one of them said the same thing. All that shit changed. His character, everything, and his confidence. It was just like you were fighting a storm of just confidence, superior speed, power, time. You would just, and it was just like an avalanche. And most fighters went into the fight trying to fight Naoya Inoue and soon forgot what the fuck they were doing. They were like surviving. And then some of them just conceded in the notion that maybe I could just catch him with one punch. And they like just go into this shell of defense and they think that, and that's the beginning of the end. He is truly, truly dominant. So Alan David Picasso has a big mountain, but you can never count out the underdog. Don't you guys count out this Mexican. You know, I'm really hyped for this fight. And I think a lot about Naoya the Monster Inoue. I think a lot about it. I think he's a very, very special fighter. And I don't think a lot of people are going to understand that he's a little bit ahead of his time when it comes to the type of shit he's doing. You know, it would take years and years and years to develop a kid to do some of the things that Naoya Inoue did straight out of the gate. One of the fighters that I think that I would love to see Naoya Inoue fight, that I honestly got to admit, and upon watching him fight just the other day, I had to go back and watch a lot of his highlights. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put him on the screen so that we can watch a little bit of this young man too. The man that I think, I thought that Bam Bam Rodriguez would be a pretty interesting matchup for Naoya the Monster Inoue, Bam Bam Rodriguez. I think that Junto would be a great fight for Naoya Inoue. Something in my gut tells me that Naoya Inoue got Junto figured out already. They haven't even stepped in the ring yet. It's just something in my gut tells me he got him figured out. That puzzle's not going to be too hard, that lefty. And Bam Bam Rodriguez, the angles that he cut, the footwork, I thought it would, in my head, I like that fight. That fight right there, that one I'll come back and I'll talk to you about that one. That one's a bit more interesting, I got to admit, right? I think something about Junto Naoya, but the guy that I think that if the boxing gods would have just, I swear to God, man, just give him a little bit more weight, man, blessed him with the ability to like just blow up a little bit. Oscar Collazo is the best fighter I think that would fight Naoya Inoue. He has I think he's really underestimated as a fighter because he's at the lowest weight division. This guy can really fight. He really can fight. The adjustments he made when he got hurt, when he got dropped in his fight, yo, that was pretty impressive. To understand, he switched his positioning. It was like, you see, you got to understand, like, when you're fighting, you're in the ring by yourself. Your coach could be yelling instructions to you and everything, but you got to be a natural fighter to understand. So you're not a robot. And your coach is not next to you saying or pressing a button, A, B, 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 and throwing punches for you. You got to know the when and the where to mix it up. And this Oscar Collazo kid, although his competition on these lower weight classes, everybody he fights, I got to admit, is also on that. Like, listen, look, let's check this kid out. I want to show you this kid. If you don't know about him, I want to introduce you to him. Check this out, right? This is Oscar Collazo right here, right? And this fight was an important fight. I remember this fight. This wasn't like a title eliminator fight. I don't think this was for the belt. But this dude that he was fighting right here, him, right? He was the former world champion. So I just want what I'm showing you for boxing educational purposes is Oscar Collazo's style. I want you to see how he throws his hands, his feet, how his feet and his hands move at the same time. He's not like pop, boom, bing, step, boom. He's not like that. Watch him. Watch him. I'm trying to tell you, this kid right here, I think he would give Naoya Inoue, if not beat him. If not beat him. Look, watch this kid. He does Naoya Inoue shit. Watch.
And go the distance.
Salazar in the red. And fifth fight immediately.
He was the man chosen to test whether the young contender could pass the exam. With a WBA.
Look at this. That jab is real. Woo! His distance, everything. Look. Man. Size that boom, boom. Would you look at this? Yo, he moves nice. Mind you, let's just remember. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the audio. I turned it off. I can't hear nothing, right? I believe this was his fifth fight or his sixth. Oscar Collazo is the youngest Puerto Rican, with the youngest record to become a world champion in Puerto Rican boxing history. Meaning he won a world title in like 7 fights. Oscar Collazo. Some shit like that. It was like, I gotta see, hold on. What belt was it? See, because if it wasn't the WBA, it's not gonna show up here. Right? Hold on, let me see if I can get that for you guys. I remember he's in the record books for Puerto Rico for being the fastest Puerto Rican male to get a world title. Not the youngest. The youngest is Wilfredo Benitez, right? And he's the fastest, Oscar Collazo. Out of all Puerto Rican champions, he got a title in like, I'm telling you, it was like 6, 7 fights or some shit like that. Let me see. Because if it was a WBA title, they won't show. It was a WBO. Okay, that's the WBO Latin belt. He got that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was the Latin belt in 4, 5, 6. Okay, he has the WBO. Okay, so he won his world title in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 professional fights. In his 7th professional fight, he won his world title and went down as the first. He's not the first born Puerto Rican champion. He was born in Newark, New Jersey, Oscar Collazo, and he fights out there in Puerto Rico. And he is definitely something. Let's continue to watch him. Look at this. Wow, did you see that body shot? The way he comes around the guard. This is his 5th professional fight. He's beating the shit against this guy's a 2-time world champion. This guy in the ring with him. This is a kid in the ring. A bit in as far as boxing records. Very young. He's not even in double digits. Look at him. Look at him. Huh. Effortlessly going across. Oh, don't quit on me, Papa. No. Come on, man. Oh, you know what I mean? Look, and let me tell you something. You know what this kid brings to one like down there? They always said that these guys didn't have power, that they didn't punch. Yo, my man is introducing power to these lower weight divisions. Well, yo, hold on, dog. Don't go nowhere. Yo, I think it's time for you to go. Yeah. Oh, did you see that shit? That shit was slick. Look at this. Look at his feet movement. Man, yo, he's nice. His rhythm, his timing. Yo, this Puerto Rican dude can fight, man. And I'm glad he's Puerto Rican. Because I swear, if he was anything else, I'd be telling you about him. You guys know how I speak about Naoya Inoue. I don't care. A fighter's a fighter. But I love that he is Puerto Rican, and I know what I'm watching. Nah, he's no, that's not a knock. Oh, yeah, it is. That's a knockdown. He hit him. Oh, yo, dog, don't do the snaky leg. Yo, my man, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go, homeboy. Checkout's over here. Check out. Look at this power. Boy, I tell you. Which way did he go? Look at wow. Yo, his patience, everything. He's oh baby, oh damn. It's time to go. Damn. Yo, he's ruthless. Ruthless. Did you see that? Yo, he had you hurt and he just kept and his target. And he was like on his chin. He was like, ding, ding, ding. You see how accurate he was? Some fighters on the way down, they'd be missing a couple and then they land that one. Yo, every punch he threw was on point. Boop, boop, boop. On your way down, he was piecing them. Boop, boop, boop. Yo, that is the signs of one of the great ones in the making. He is pretty damn good. And if I was being honest, just being honest, not just, I'm trying to tell you, not because he's just Puerto Rican, I'm just being honest. He's fought already because in those lower weight divisions, it's usually like those Filipino, Japanese dudes, all those dudes. And Oscar Collazo's down there rocking with all those dudes. I'm trying to tell you. And I want to show you this fight right here. Man, he knows how to roll with punches really well. He rolls with punches. And I want to show you this fight right here. I think this is the fight he gets caught. This guy gives him a lot of trouble right here. An awkward style fighter. A real heavy puncher. You know what I'm saying? Like those Luis Naris and those Roman Cardenas guys. They real tough. And they throw strong and hard. And although you could be highly skilled, these are those kind of men that test your ability. They're not just going to go down in front of you. You got to work. You got to put it together. And look at Oscar Collazo. He's just whoop, 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 whoop. His punch selection is awesome, bro. Made him quit. Yo, he made him quit. That's not the dude. I remember that fight now. As soon as he took that breath, I was like, yeah, I remember that he quit. He quit on the stool. And then he fought this guy. He made this guy quit on the stool back to back. That's when he won the title off that dude that quit. And he makes this guy right here quit too. Yeah. So look, as far as fighters and exciting fights for Naoya the Monster Inoue, you know, I don't know. But I like some of these guys. I wish they were in the same division with him. Man, boy, I would want to see Bam Bam Rodriguez in the ring with Naoya Inoue. Yeah, that would be one for the ages. I think Mexico got a great one in that kid. Well, the U.S. or whatever, because I think he represents the U.S. So, but he is Mexican heritage. But he's a force to be reckoned with. Bam Bam Rodriguez. You see, it's dangerous when you can box against Naoya in a way, but Bam Bam's not just your typical boxer. He's a smart boxer. Yeah. So he can box and get away with boxing with Naoya Inoue because he's also skilled, very highly skilled. So, but if you box like your traditional sense boxing, it's worse when you fight Naoya Inoue. He's gonna knock you out because all you're doing is boxing. But when you can box at the level that he also boxes, you can box with him. Yeah, you can box with him. Nonito Donaire proved it. Yeah, there's been boxers that fought with him. Raishi, the other Japanese kid that went 10 rounds with Naoya Inoue, he showed it. But you gotta you gotta bring something to the table. Your boxing ability gotta be on his level. If your boxing is that of Marlon Tapales, you know what I'm saying? Like boxing like that. See, Stephen Kubo Fulton is just the boxer at the time when he fought Naoya Inoue. He was a very good boxer. He just wasn't as skilled on that level of speed. Yo, them Japanese dudes are a lot faster than what we thought. Yeah, they are. That's one thing about the Japanese fighters that most of them have is that goddamn speed, bro. Them motherfuckers is fast, boy. Woo! They fast. Them Japanese dudes, yeah, I gotta admit. And I think when our guys come up against them, that's what surprises our guys. Our guys got to start going out there more and catching that. Like, wait a minute, I gotta focus on getting a little bit faster here. And them Japanese dudes is fast, bro. So but they're not all strong. They can't crack. Not all of them could crack. The top guys in the Japanese, they seem to be cracking, but not all of them are like that. They're volume punchers. They throw a lot of punches, so it's a little give and take. But they're learning technique and timing. Timing beats speed, and position beats power. So you're in the right position, it'll be power. You'll crack with good timing and great positioning, like if you had speed and power. So, I like this fight a lot. With Alan David Picasso, the more I think about it and I really break it down for the Mexican kid, he poses a threat. So before we go down like that rabbit hole of wanting Naoya Inoue to fight like big major showdown fights, like Tank Davis, that's a fight that the world would be salivating over. Like, what? Tank Davis versus Naoya Inoue? Are you freaking crazy? And where would that weight be? Realistically, I'm not sure. I mean, for the money, would Tank, I think personally, Tank is 5'5". Naoya Inoue is 5'5". Tank Davis, what he have to do is just lose some weight. Maybe if they can meet at 130 for a belt. Has to be in a division, not a catch weight. Naoya Inoue will never fight in a catch weight. He's not going to do it. He's not going to put that crap on his record. And he doesn't fight for interim belts. It's either the real one or nothing. They've offered him numerous times interim world titles, and he's refused them all. Naoya Inoue. So it would have to be in a division. Realistically, I don't see Tank Davis dropping down to 126. But giving up 5 pounds from 135, I always thought Tank Davis was a 130 pounder anyway. You know what I mean? And that's where I think if this fight was to ever take place between Tank Davis and Naoya the Monster Inoue, that's where I think it would take place. It would have to be in that like 130, realistically, you know. Um, or like let's just focus on the possibility. The real possibility here is Junto. That's the real possibility. Because Junto is already in the division where Naoya Inoue is, and the stars are already aligned. Naoya Inoue already stepped to Junto in the press conference at the award ceremony in Japan. He said, "Yo, is this mic working? Tension, is this mic? This is my impression of Naoya Inoue. Excuse me. Is this mic working?" And translated in English with a little bit of ghetto-ness. Okay, you, me, outside. Yo, he challenged him. He challenged Junto right there. And that wasn't something that they usually typically do in Japan when in award ceremonies in places like this, it's led by respect and honor, tradition. If you got something to say, you don't say it then and there, you wait for. You would have to be a very special man for you to interrupt the festivities to announce your personal plans to wanting to fight someone. Would have had to have been an announcement worthy of interrupting the festivities. And boy, was it. And them jaws, they hit the ground when Naoya Inoue said that at that award ceremony. You should have looked at the expression on Junto's face. He was like, yeah. And only Naoya Inoue, the superstar, the true superstar of Japan, can do some shit like that and stop it. I don't think Junto, maybe yeah, he could have, because he would have had him in the sights. But yeah, so those kind of things are not typically done. Like the moment when that Japanese guy threw the flowers down in the feet of Mayweather. A lot of Japanese officials and real high people in Japan took to social media and said he doesn't talk for us. He doesn't represent the Japanese culture in our way by doing that. We would never do that. And they disattached himself. And that, my friend, shamed his family name. You do things out there in Japan and it tarnishes your family's reputation. You got that one uncle walking around the streets drinking too much sake, he embarrasses the family, you know? And they try to like distance themselves from it. It's led by tradition out there. It's a totally different world than America. In America, we don't follow tradition. We barely respect ourselves, let alone our parents. And for those who do respect their parents, pass that on. We need to America, we need to be held more accountable, and we need to show more class for ourselves. I don't want the stigma of an American looking when the other people on the other side of the world think of American, what they think about. They turn on Jerry Springer and see some trailer park trash dude and shit with his chick yelling up a storm, some couple up there looking crazy. Duh, Americans. Like, I don't want to be represented like that. I think there are thousands and millions of Americans worldwide that hold themselves to a higher standard and compete on everyday sports and everything and are fine young men and women, So, it's about standards and holding yourself to a higher standard. So, Japan, their biggest fight, I think, would be Naoya Inoue versus Junto, and that would be in Japan. I think they'll sell out that Tokyo Arena, man. They really will. And I think that's a mega showdown right there. But Junto, Naoya Inoue has options. You know that Nick Ball wants to fight him. at 126. He's been more than transparent about fighting Naoya the Monster Inoue, Nick Ball. So, yeah, yeah. Salute. I'm almost I'm about to take off. Peace from Houston. Saul Canelo Hours, the face of boxing. IBO. The IBO, this one right here, that's another world title. It's the fifth one. Oscar Collazo should fight Bang Bang Rodriguez. That would be a monster fight, huh? Now, wouldn't it? And they're not so far off. I think they would be closer in weight, of course, than Naoya Inoue. But just like we were searching for a fighter to give Naoya Inoue a great fight, we searched and we found one. And the public believes Junto is him. The public believes Bam Bam Rodriguez is an also potential, and that Tank Davis is another potential of beating him. There's another circle of boxing fans that believe Espinoza at 126 will be his downfall. So he has guys that we're saying could potentially beat him. I'm just still searching because I don't think it's going to happen just yet. So I'm sitting there going through fighters, and I'm quickly reminded of Oscar Collazo. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm watching him develop as a fighter, because although talented, I kept it down because he didn't have a lot of fights. And then you soon realize, shit, the guys he's fighting, like, while he was moving up, were like former world champions, or this guy was, and you start to realize. Last night, I was appreciating his boxing style more than I ever did for Oscar Collazo when I went across this video. I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, and I had time to really take what I was watching. Just like Naoya Inoue, just like Terrence Crawford, I always have that moment where I really appreciate, or start to understand what the hell he's doing. Then you start to take account his age. How many fights is this? When did he win his world title? And you were like, wait a minute, whoa, wait. Is he being handed some of these things? Are some of these guys cab drivers? So you start to go down that what's going on? And you start to realize, no, he's fighting top guys. And you start to say, like, to yourself, And then he'll go from one belt to two belts. And you're starting to see the progression. And I start to ask myself, are we watching the next best thing? Is this the next guy that's going to get all four belts in a four-belt era? Could it be him? Hey, it's no secret I'm Puerto Rican. The fact that he's Puerto Rican, I'm just sitting here going, wait, maybe he can do this. Just maybe, and I'm appreciating his fighting style. So, look, I'm still looking for the guy that could potentially beat Naoya Inoue. A guy that has a style that would finally start to win rounds against them. My problem is, the only problem I have with Naoya Inoue is that he's too good. He's doing it a bit too good. Where that when he gets in the ring with these guys, he does it so well that you say, these guys ain't shit. But the evidence says otherwise. Jason Maloney there went on to become a world champion after losing to Naoya Inoue. Stephen Kubo Fulton went on to be a champion after losing to Naoya Inoue. Donaire went to be a world champion after losing to Naoya Inoue. Rodriguez went to be a world champion after losing to Naoya Inoue. All these guys are world champions if Naoya Inoue didn't beat them. And some of them became world champions in another weight division. That's how good his competition is. At the time, they probably wouldn't have lost to anybody else had it not been him. That's how many champions has Terrence Crawford ever beat that went back to become world champion? I'll wait. Don't even do it. Don't look that up, please. Don't. How many of these guys that their competition was so great, bro? I'm trying to tell you. Inoue's competition was top notch, man. And he was using these guys as step up ladders and shit, tune up fights. He was using champions as tune up fights to go up to the next. Yo, he used a champion on a tune up fight in a 2 jump weight division. He bypassed one division, just jumped by the other one and said, yeah, I'll take the biggest champion. By the way, he was the tallest fighter he ever fought. Undefeated for 4 years, had that belt, never been knocked out in his career. None of that shit mattered. Naoya Inoue knocked him out. McDonald in 1 round. 1 round. From 108 to 115. From 108 to 115, give me the champion. 1 round. That's what shit he's on. Naoya Inoue. It's fucking ridiculous. He's doing video game shit. It's incredible. So when I talk about this dude, I gotta admit, he's probably one of the most skilled fighters of the modern era right now. You know, when I compare him, I'm careful about comparing him because I'm like, oh man, in my head, I want to be like, nah, fuck that. Oscar Collazo's way better fighter than Naoya Inoue because I'm Puerto Rican, right? And then reality is much different. That you gotta admit what he's doing is not easy. You do your investigation and you say to yourself, well, then if he did it, why isn't anybody else in the weight division behind him doing it right now? Why can't not one there's not a single guy out there can get all the belts. And in fact, and in the entire history of boxing, Naoya Inoue is the first super bantamweight champion to ever require undisputed status. All the belts in the history of boxing. No boxer has ever done that. So when he starts to do things that no other human ever did, you really need to start and you need to be careful when you're judging these fighters, because when you say to yourself, Naoya Inoue is not that good, okay, in comparison to who? Who are you comparing them to? And then what did that guy do? And it doesn't even have to be in the same weight division. Just show me a guy that has fought repeatedly the best after the best after the best after the best. Then you start to see these names you're not going to recognize. And what you do is you ask yourself, how the hell did Yi Young Kim fight Naoya Inoue? You need to say that. You need to say to yourself, how the hell did Nick Ball fight Naoya Inoue? Roman Cardenas. Why are those names on Naoya Inoue's thing? And it's going to make you do an investigation and look on the reasons why. Oh, late replacement. Why? The top guys were smashing their heads against wall, busting cut open their eye to avoid from fighting them. And these were the brave men that they can get shaking. Go in there, champ. Go in there. And they're like, and going in the lion's den. Nah, boy, that Yi Young Kim North Korean fighter, he tried to pump himself up. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Naoya Inoue, you're going down, bro. Yo, that dude got brutally knocked out. He made it look so easy. It was incredible. But shout out to you, Yi Young Kim. You got my respect. You had the balls to get in there with him. That ass whooping Yi Young Kim, that wasn't for him. He should have never took that ass whooping. That ass whooping was for Sam Goodman. But he was so much of a coward that 2 men took an ass whooping for that one dude. TJ Doheny and Yi Young Kim got their asses whooped because of Sam Goodman wouldn't get in the ring. That's the God honest truth. They didn't deserve that ass whooping. They weren't training for Naoya Inoue. That just shit wasn't fair. That was a brutal mass. Those are lambs led to slaughter. But thank you for stepping up. TJ Doheny, you're a warrior in my book. And Yi Young Kim, you're a warrior in my book. Because this guy didn't have the ball, the cojones to get in the ring. And the rest of the times, they were trying to pick out a Mexican fighter. Who was it? Alan David Picasso. To fight Naoya Inoue, where? Las Vegas. And Alan David Picasso, his team and his father said he's not ready. And you know who stepped in? Roman Cardenas, that almost shocked the world. Roman Cardenas hit that grand slam, but Naoya Inoue ran and caught it at the wall. He was that close from hitting a grand slam. Let me get that. You ain't get nothing. Naoya Inoue got up, beat the brakes off that man, but that ass whooping that Roman Cardenas took, that wasn't his ass whooping. He didn't belong in there with him. That ass whooping belonged to this guy right here, Alan David Picasso. And now, Alan David Picasso, after watching Roman Cardenas get destroyed, and then the next fight was MJ, and then watching him go the distance with MJ for 12 rounds, I guess they said, well, he's not all that destructible. MJ went 12 rounds with him, Alan David Picasso. Come on, man. You can go 12 rounds with him. You know what I mean? Get a moral victory and get out. Whatever story or money they gave him, this fight right here, I think that Naoya Inoue is going to come out and he's going to destroy Alan David Picasso. He's going to destroy him. It'll be a good, Alan David Picasso do some boxing shit in there. He's a boxer. He's gonna do some boxing shit. Whatever he does is Naoya's gonna get his timing, his distance, and he's gonna go in. On average, under 6 rounds, he'll finish him. On average. So it's under 6. You do too many mistakes. At this level in the game, I don't expect Alan David Picasso to fight like a rookie. I don't expect him to do anything. I think that Naoya Inoue is going to piece him up. He's going to work off the jab like he typically does, depending what he sets up and how the first few punches Alan David Picasso takes. I remember when he fought Tall Des Marines, Naoya Inoue, and in the beginning of the first round, from the first round to the second round in the middle, Naoya Inoue only threw punches up top, and he clipped Alan David Picasso right off the top of the forehead. Go ahead and watch this fight. He hits him up here, pow, and you saw Des Marines' his head must have been rocking. He was like that. He just went like this, and he decided to go on the high guard because he didn't want to get punched on his forehead anymore. And from there, Naoya Inoue changed the fight to a vicious body attack. That's where he hit Des Marines with that body, that beautiful whipping. It looked like a whip, like if he was just whipping him. Like, that's exactly what it looks like. And Naoya Inoue just hit him like that. He went, and his soul just jumped right out of his body. Des Marines is a tough dude, bro. Most men would have curled up in a ball right there in the fetal position with that first punch. The fight was over. The tough guys would have got up one more time and got put down with another body shot. But those real tough that you can't see it on that's Marinas, bro. That night right there, bro, he really showed he wanted that fight to fight against Naoya Inoue. He was fighting like if they had a gun to his wife's head in the back. Des Marinas kept getting up. I didn't know what kept getting him up. I was like, oh, it's over right here. And he get up. He tapped his gloves. And he was going forward. I was like, yo, they got this guy's kids hostage backstage. He's fighting like he won't. Bro, that is some real fucking courageous shit right there. Those body shots hurt. And just look, we came to find out what kind of puncher Naoya Inoue truly is. So just think back. Damn, Des Marinas, bro. You was one tough dude, bro. Ryan Garcia couldn't take a body shot like that. Shots fired. Shots fired. Why'd I have to do that? Poor Ryan. You know what I'm saying? He ain't doing anything. Hold on. Edwin. Don't bring Ryan up in this. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. But yo, most men can't take a body shot like that, man. You know? And the thing is that, what's up, guys? Let me read y'all text. My boy here says Picasso is weak, and look, money can entice you to fight, right? Samuel, right? Check it out. Money can entice you to a fight. Yeah, but there's a lot of offers that are made. Sometimes guys just price themselves out just to avoid the fight. Let me remind you that Alan David Picasso is an undefeated fighter. Somebody's gotta go. All right? So just remember that. So Alan David Picasso, he's in it for the money. What do you mean he's in it for the money? If he was in it for the money, he'd have a bunch of losses fighting these unfucking guys that he couldn't beat for money, and there would be evidence of that. But apparently he's taking the money and the win all the way up to this point in his career. So he's really never made all that much money, and I don't think he's getting paid all that much money. He might be paid handsomely here. Yeah, handsomely. But you're going to have to put your fighter through some shit. How do you know you send your fighter in there and Naoya Inoue doesn't take 3 or 4 years off that fighter's career? Like when I used to talk about when coaches put their fighter in against Subriel Matias. See, it's not just fighting Subriel Matias. It's getting your fighter back the same way. All the fighters that go in the ring with Subriel Matias, they don't come back the same. They take too much damage. And in order to beat him, Liam Paro went through hell to beat. He couldn't take another beating like that when Richard Hedgerson, he didn't want to go in the inside no more. That one fight he had with Subriel took too much of us Liam Paro. He couldn't hold on to that belt. He didn't fight Richard Hedgerson like he fought fucking Subriel. By the 7th round, he was looking in the corner like he was going to quit. They was willing him back in the fight. But he was fighting an undefeated fighter and a fighter that never took a beating like that. He was strong. That Richard Henderson and that jab, he was reluctant to come. He was already at what cost? You put in Alan David Picasso in against Naoya Inoue, bro, and let his young chin be fucking strong and hold up. You know, you get those stubborn fighters, and Naoya Inoue is forced to put a massive ass whooping on him for like 7, 8, 9 rounds, and this dude is bubble. Bro, at what cost? So a payday, I hope that covers your hospital bills. Maybe he might be nice to you and knock you out early. One punch. Let's get out of here. Get the bag. But you got to pay for that. Your body's got to pay for that. And sometimes fighters, managers, and trainers, we understand that. When we really don't want that fight, yeah, let me get $100 million, $1 billion for that fight and I'll do it. Now, I'm not pricing myself out. I just want $1 trillion, billion, nillion dollars. That's a real number. That is a real number, all right? I'm not pricing myself out. You know what I mean? You know? And you can spare your guy the ass whooping. Just don't fight him. But, yeah. Cashflow Diaz? Cashflow Diaz beats him if he got his head together? What? Cashflow beats who? I gotta know. I just don't want to assume anything. I know you're not saying Naoya Inoue. Just please come back and put the name of the guy you think beats who? Cashflow Diaz. Oh my God. Oh my God. The dude with the long little hair that imitates at the Floyd. I gotta know the name first before I answer any of that. Oscar should fight Bam. Yeah, I read that. Bam may be the guy to beat Naoya Inoue. He's got my vote. He's got my vote. Bam Rodriguez he's right there with Junto. I think Bam is slightly, the only thing is Bam is like this with Naoya Inoue. See, Junto's a little bit taller. I don't think Junto is quicker than Bam. I think Junto's nice, but I think the world is going to get a rude awakening, a real rude awakening with Junto. I think all the guys that Junto fought, Naoya Inoue will walk through those guys, every one of them. He didn't even beat the better of the Maloney brothers, Junto. He beat the smaller one. Naoya Inoue knocked out the older, the more of the skilled of the Maloney brothers. Naoya Inoue, and the way Naoya Inoue knocked him out was way better than the way Junto knocked out the other one. Junto just dropped a bomb on a wounded duck that was staggering in front of him. He was coming out of the high guy. He was already beat the fuck up punch. He was like coming out the bar, staggering, looking out and getting clipped, getting hit by a big shot because he was basically out on his feet. But when Naoya Inoue knocked out the Maloney brother, the older twin, he did it in a sequence where the Maloney brother actually thought, I'm going to hit Naoya Inoue. It was so slick. And so it was a beautiful. Naoya Inoue's knockout was way better than Junto's. Junto's was just brutal. See, you would put that up against like the Stephen Kubo Fulton knockout when he dropped him with that power shot and then he got back up. You would put a knockout like that versus a knockout like that. But slick, you guys are going to see what I see. I'm telling you, but Naoya Inoue is going to have to prove that. But I know what I see. And I know that for as much as people think Junto would be a better fight, I disagree. I think Bam Bam Rodriguez would be a way better fight. The only thing is that I'm afraid of is Bam is small. He might not be gifted with that body mass that he needs to pack on the weight. That's my only problem. Naoya Inoue is already cracking at 122 and still got knockout power. I'm not sure if Bam can take his punch. I don't think Bam Rodriguez has ever been cracked by a guy like Naoya Inoue. No. That I would have to see. I remember when Chocolatito sat him down, bro. Sat Bam down. I mean, it was a stun punch knockdown. He caught him. He didn't see the punch. You're in a fight. That don't mean shit to me. That means absolutely nothing. How did Bam Bam Rodriguez get up off the floor? What happened in the fight? There's your fucking answer right there. Just because Bam got dropped, that means nothing. Like the Mexicans say, nada pasó aquí. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. because nothing did happen. Look what happened when he got up. Nada pasó, nada pasó. That's it. And that's the truth. That's the truth. You stand the chance of getting clipped with a punch against another world-class fighter. That don't mean shit. But Baby Rodriguez's fighting style, for me, he possesses the more of the understanding of fighting than just these guys that are God-gifted talented. There's a difference between a talent and God-gifted. There's a difference. And when you are a fighter that you understand things about the human body, the movement, how the dance goes, that's something your fighter would have to develop over years. Some of these guys, telling you, right, day one, they just know it. They just know what to do. Man, that's God gifted, bro. Talent is something you do over and over, but you pick up on it faster than anybody else. They can just show you the move one time and you're mastered it. Talent. And you start to develop way faster than all the other kids. But those kids, man, that understand positioning, timing, that you never showed them. And the coach is always surprised and shocked every time when he sees his own fighter. He's like, yeah, well, we worked on that. We were training on that, right? We were working on that. God damn, you're good, kid. Oh, my God. Listen anyway, yeah. And they start to realize Naoya Inoue is a trifecta. He's a trifecta where that he's God-gifted, talented, and dedicated. He's the kind of athlete don't come around very often. You don't really see that too much, where that he has everything. You sit there and you say to yourself, man, if I had all the attributes, a lot of fighters have a lot of attributes that Naoya Inoue have, but they just don't have it all. A lot of fighters had things that Mayweather had, they just didn't have. See, Zab Judah had things that Mayweather had. He matched them in speed, placement of punches. That Zab Judah didn't have his gas tank. He didn't have his worth ethic. Zab Judah didn't have Mayweather's timing, his patience. Zab Judah didn't have Mayweather's defense. It was just like you might have certain things of that fighter, but that's what made those kind of fighters so special. That Naoya Inoue has everything. And I mean everything. So it's tough. But if Floyd would have stuck around long enough, eventually somebody would have beat him. Floyd got out the game. He understood to protect his dynasty. What it took him a lifetime to build, he decided he had gone far enough. 50-0 sound better than 49-0. It just round off the number, and he decided to call it quits right there. Whenever Mayweather entered the ring once again, he entered under exhibition, where even in defeat, it would never tarnish the legacy and the records that he built, that it took him a lifetime. He would never tarnish what it took him a lifetime to build. Like a lot of these other fighters, Manny Pacquiao just suffered another loss on his boxing resume. And with every loss, no matter what you think, he gets further and further away from the conversation as the GOAT. You're not going to convince me when it's all said and done that Manny Pacquiao got like 10, 11 losses and that he's still in the conversation with the GOAT when the guy that's considered to be the GOAT actually went down in history for beating him. That's a long stretch, bro. That's like, you in a court case and your lawyer's sweating because the DA's like, listen, we got him in the bank with the bag of money on camera, and his wallet fell on the ground and had his ID. Go. Yo, you making it a hard argument, Manny Pacquiao, to prove that you're the GOAT. Like, god damn, like, come on, Manny. You had to keep it a little close so that we could have something to argue about. You know what I mean? And then you can't even say on the night that they met, he waited until Manny Pacquiao got old, because the night they fought, Mayweather was older. Manny was the younger. Yo, damn, Manny. Shit, your argument for the GOAT status, your lawyer must be sweating like, bro, he's out of the room, man. He's out of the room. That's the real GOAT right there, man. He's the GOAT for, the lower weight divisions, and the Ali is still the GOAT for the heavyweight. The GOAT, the heavyweight GOAT is the GOAT, I guess, but there has to be a world where the rest of the divisions can coexist and live. And as far as where the glamour divisions, where speed meets power at a perfect balance and weight, with that the individual is at their best. The 130, 135, 140, 147, 154 are the glamour divisions in boxing. Power meets speed. You got the best fighters in the world. And if we were talking about that, there is no fighter on planet Earth, in my opinion, that did it better than Mayweather. Yeah. Terrence Crawford, it can't touch Mayweather right now when it comes to championship fights. But in accomplishments, Terrence Crawford has surpassed Mayweather in accomplishments, as in being a 3-division, all 4 belts in his era. The only thing is, true boxing is measured by your opponents, unfortunately. It's who stood across from you. When you look at Oscar De La Hoya's resume, Mayweather's resume, shit. All them guys' resumes, you were judged by your opponent. And who'd you fight? As of right now, Terrence Crawford has Saul. Gotta give him Errol. You have to give him Errol Spence. He has 3 belts. I don't want to fucking hear it, but from no one. Errol is a real champion. He was a real, he had 3 belts. So I don't want to hear, oh, Errol only 1 division. Shut up. Errol was the man, all right? So you're going to give him Errol to Terrence Crawford. So it's Saul, Errol. Do you give him Sean Porter? Sean Porter was a decent champion, guys. Come on, man. Right? Like, Sean Porter was a fucking great fighter. I mean, not a really very fight, but for the little guy that could, come on, Sean Porter, man. Come on, guys. Right? You gotta give and Victor Postal was come on, man. Like, Victor Postal doesn't have to be a fucking, Oscar De La Hoya. I get it. I get it. And I'm struggling here for Terrence, right? Give him a couple goddamn names, damn it. Going against Floyd's record is crazy. It's just crazy. And I know what's going to happen here. I know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, the guys that Floyd fought, I mean, you can't ignore it, man. You can't ignore it. It's just like fucking Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, Zab Judah, like, Jesus Christ. 23 world champions? Like, it's not fair, bro. It's not fair, man. Like, how many world champions has Terrence Crawford fought in his entire career? How many world champions? Like, maybe, I don't know, If I had to guess, maybe 6, 7, some shit like that, right? Let me see. He got Yuri, he got Boga, Victor Posto. He fought uh Undango. He fought um, Alvarez. Those are all champions when he beat them. So he's got a couple of champions, but he just doesn't have Mayweather's credentials. He can't. Terrence Crawford can't fuck with Oscar De La Hoya. Period. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that one gold medal and I'll put it up against your fucking 4 belts, 3 division shit. Fuck it. That one gold medal, man, that's a worldwide gold medal. You know, it's kind of like it is boxing worldwide, kind of, right? But that gold medal means a lot, bro. Not every boxer gets a gold medal. You got more chances of winning a belt and as a pro than you do winning that fucking gold medal in the Olympics. I gotta admit that. The difficulty level is pretty difficult to win that gold medal, man. That's pretty difficult. I don't know, man. Now, maybe it's how you see it. Because getting all 4 belts in 3 separate ways is no easy task neither. I'll still put that gold medal up there though. And then you're putting up a gold medal, right, against like these fucking belts, these pro belts, right? But you don't also forget Oscar has 6 weight divisions that trumps them 3 belts in all 4. And except you got it through all 4 belts in 3 weight divisions. Yeah, but you don't got more divisions than Oscar. No. There's only 2 people in that room in boxing history that got 6 weight divisions. Only 2 people on earth. And Oscar's one of them. So he's got a gold medal and that on you. And all you got is that 3 belt shit. And you don't got half the names Oscar has. Now we go to the resume, and Terrence can't fuck with Oscar's resume. There's no way on earth he can't fuck with Oscar's resume. Terrence Crawford can't fuck with Sugar Ray Leonard's resume. Marvis Hagler's resume. He can't. No. That's just stupid. It's, man, listen. The names on these guys, that's where the argument's going to fall for Terrence. And I got to admit, at the end of the day, the belts do mean something, but most importantly, who you shared the ring with. I mean, ain't that what combat sports is all about? The best fighting the best? Ain't that what we're talking about? And since I know that, I know it's going to come down to who you shared the ring with. And that's where I got to lower my head and be honest. That's where I'm not going to shit on boxing. That's the God honest truth. Yes, it is who you shared the ring with. Yeah, that's everything. You can't just say that you're the best fighter and didn't fight none of the best or didn't do any, you know what I mean? But what at least Terrence Crawford has, he achieved some shit. He truly did. He achieved things and did stuff that most fighters wouldn't fucking do. And I see Floyd Mayweather jumping up fucking 2 weight divisions to fight a guy with 4 belts or unified or undisputed. I see Mayweather do anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And then go to another fucking state or whatever to do it and shit. Like Mayweather never left the US. Never. Only in the amateurs. I mean, not the amateurs. I'm sorry, the exhibitions. When he went to Japan for the exhibition. That's it. But as a professional, Mayweather never left the US. Not once. So what Terrence did is to be commended. Yeah. But I just know where it's going to go. I know where the conversation is going to end up. And that's where he loses. Terrence. Unfortunately. But fucking remarkable fighter, Terrence Crawford, the best of my era right now. In this moment, Floyd doesn't exist right now. He's retired. Leave Floyd retired. As the best fighter in the world, that's Terrence Crawford. So at least during Terrence Crawford's era, the only thing I think you can be responsible for, just be the best in your time. See, LeBron James should have not tried to beat the GOAT Michael Jordan. He should have just tried to be himself. He would have been the best in his own era, in which he kind of is. What shadows LeBron James is that he tried to overthrow the GOAT before achieving what the GOAT achieved. In order for you to get past Terrence Crawford in his own era, if you're claiming to be better than, well, then at least do what he's doing or something remotely close. Just don't say it. So, as far as I can see, I don't see Floyd Mayweather boxing in boxing matches, taking titles. I don't see that shit. That's not what's on my TV. You know what I see? I see Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford fucking jumping up and making weight jumps and history and whooping up on Saul Canelo Alvarez and challenging the powers that be. That's what I see Terrence Crawford doing. And since owning Terrence Crawford is now in the now, that's the best fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford, in his era. So at least he can say that he is the best. You know, so whether your opinion on, you know, who's the GOAT or whatever, no, there's not really an opinion. It's not open really for debate. Because in boxing is unlike any other sport. You see, our GOATs can only be called GOAT when they retire. They can't be called GOAT while active. We all know that after these guys retire, some of them don't retire well. They're fighting late into their 40s and getting knocked out of the ring and tarnishing their records. Then the last image you have of this guy getting knocked out 3 or 4 times at the end of the career, you're saying that guy's the GOAT? If we were playing by that game, Roy Jones Jr. would be in the conversation 100%. Mike Tyson would be in the conversation 100%. But they're not. Why? Because they took big losses and knockouts and quit in fights that they're not qualified to be into the room. There are a couple specifications that the fighters must meet. There are standards before we start to put you in against the other GOATs. And when we cannot decide, the only one thing I think is right down the middle in the boxing world, that there has to be a position where there has to be more than one GOAT. Because arguably the heavyweight champion is the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. So by default, there is no other boxing belt that is stronger than the heavyweight champion. And if the heavyweight champion can have a moment in a time in an era as Ali, it's hard to put that up against anything else. Because tying into with Ali, Ali was much more than boxing. He was bigger than actual boxing. So here comes Mayweather. Mayweather kept it boxing. What you know Mayweather by is his victories in the ring. Mayweather wasn't starting a movement or speaking for the people. He was just a fighter, a very flamboyant fighter, and you either paid to see him win or paid him to see him lose. The one thing with Mayweather, though, he never lost. And he proved that skills can pay the bills. Mayweather, right? Okay. So, because of the fact that the heavyweight champion's belt is so strong that it's hard to see anybody else surpass that, as in GOAT status. I believe that Ali is the GOAT in boxing. But since the heavyweight division is almost its own separate division because of the fact that it plays by their own set of rules, the heavyweight division is not like any other division. You don't cut weight as a heavyweight. In every other division, you got to cut weight. So if we play by a different set of rules, then you have a different set of belts. Yeah, your belts might be stronger, but we have to have an era for the GOAT from the people that cut weight. Who's the GOAT and the people and the divisions that cut weight? Floyd Mayweather. And that's how we got there. That's why we realized we had to have two. Because you can't hold the heavyweight champion at the same standards when you're not playing by the same rules. So these are all things that, you know what I'm saying, that I bring up. I break it down. I hope, we can come to an understanding. But lowering the bar so that your guy can get in, I think actually hurts your sport. What they did to basketball with LeBron and Jordan, I really believe hurt the NBA. Because there are some people out there that really believe that at one point in time, LeBron was actually better than Michael. And they got these new kids that never saw Michael really play, and they will live and die by it. Like LeBron there was not a single year ever LeBron ever played basketball that I ever watched him and said, holy shit, this guy is amazing. In fact, I was a diehard Laker fan, and I've said this 100 times, that and still to this day, it's the truth. And from the day that LeBron James signed to the Lakers, that's the last day I watched basketball. That is the last day I ever watched basketball. I no longer a Laker fan, and until he gets off the team on that day, I'll come back to the Lakers, and then I'll watch basketball again. Yeah, I just didn't like the fact that they caught me in a bad time in my life. I was young, and I was big into loyalty. The fact that he bounced around from every team, he was like band hopping. He wasn't like Kobe, came on the team, stayed there. Like Michael, came on the Chicago, stayed there. Like Tim Duncan, always stayed. And I just saw him as a phony. LeBron. And I cursed the day he went to the Lakers because I was like, you came and got this guy on here. Like, yeah, I guess he could be good or whatever. But I just felt like in my head, he was never on that level ever. Like, never. And guys are like, no, I'll show you a game. Statistically, he scored this. And I'm like, bro, basketball is more than just scoring points. Michael Jordan's charisma, the way he carried himself, the way he viewed the game, it was just way better than LeBron's, like, act. Like this, he act like he was your teammate. He gave me that vibe. Like he act like, even when all those bumps and hits, like he would like flare his hands, I felt like he was just a big phony. And although he was like a fucking really big athlete that was agility and athletic for a guy that size, wow, it's impressive to watch LeBron James kind of like move, because guys normally that big don't move like LeBron does. No. His longevity, like, that's pretty commendable. That little scoring title doesn't mean nothing. I mean, you've been in the league since Jesus. If you didn't get that scoring title, that would say something about you. It would mean you're garbage. Like, the odds of you getting a scoring title, being in the league that long, is 100%. That's like a no-brainer. So that's not really difficult to do for what he did. Nope, not at all. And yeah, he was just like, I felt like they just stole him to you. You know what I mean? But when I watched them play for a little while, like I saw like a couple, like in championship shit, I saw him do some cool shit. LeBron, like I saw him come, like that Cleveland game when he came back and won against, I think that's his best performance of best year, LeBron's. That series right for me. And I don't know much about LeBron. I don't study the guy. Nothing. He rubbed me the wrong way. I was just fucking going from this team, that team, and then They cried and burnt his jersey in the streets, and fans were crying. And I was just like, the fuck is this? Like, he was jumping on like super powerhouse teams, then winning championship and beating his chest like he did something. I was like, did you win it or Tim Wade win that? Like, I just never, I never liked it. His style, his charisma, his persona. He wasn't like Black Jesus, like Jordan. Nah, Jordan was methodical, ruthless, driven. He had the characteristics of a fucking, and he demanded respect. LeBron has none of that. I've never heard anybody in my life say, "Oh shit, LeBron's coming to town. We're scared of him." Or walk up and say, and somebody disrespect LeBron on the court, and another basketball player walks up and checks the other basketball player in his behalf. Yo, don't talk about LeBron. He's gonna go crazy and drop 50 on you. I've never heard that in my life. I've never heard another basketball player say, "Yo, I was scared of death of LeBron facing him. It was just like he kept me up at night. I just didn't know what to do." Fucking, you know how many times they said that about my coaches, athlete, players? It was fucking ridiculous, bro. Mike was he was different than LeBron, and it just like people didn't understand that. Like till this day, I've never seen nobody in the hood get robbed for their LeBrons. Never. For Jordans, that shit happens all day, every day, everywhere. I've never in my life seen somebody go, "Oh shit, he got the LeBrons on." Run those. Come up off the LeBrons, bro. Nah, those are LeBron what? Stock? Are those the ones? This is what the Trey 8 do. Run them shits, bro. Never. Never in my life. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, if I had my Jordans on and you caught me in the projects hallway, I can picture it, right? I'm out there in the projects with my fucking goose down coat, right? I'm sitting out in the projects walls like this. Then all of a sudden, it's like, yo, I'm like, what up? And he comes over, he pulls out the Trey 8. Yo, I'm like, oh shit, he got me. I'm like, what you want? Run him Jordans. Fuck. All right, you got that. Dang, you got that Trey 8 right pointed right at me, huh? You just out of distance before I could grab it. Fuck. All right, you got that, bro. I ain't getting shot over Jordans. Here, take the Jordans. What you going? Yo, what you doing? You taking off LeBron's? You want me to put on the LeBron James? How far is that gun? Hold on. Now I might go for it now. I ain't putting them shits on. Hold on, dog. I might have to fight for my life. Yo, but it's funny, like I don't know. I never felt like he was better, but to each his own, man. If you're a LeBron James fan, man, stay a LeBron James fan, bro. Don't switch sides. If that's what you were brought in your era and you don't know nothing about Mike, then that's unfortunate. But the way that they try to market him, it was sad because he was never on Jordan's level. And there's just people that they really think that. I don't know. That would be kind of like saying Emmanuel Rodriguez could beat Bam Bam Rodriguez because they have like the last same name and shit. And then all of a sudden they're trying to sell you like, "Oh, this Rodriguez right here is the next." No, he was never Bam Rodriguez. Never. Never. You know what I'm saying? And you know that. But when you got the media behind you and the self-proclaimed king like LeBron, he self-proclaimed himself king. King James. You call yourself the king. Nobody calls you the king. Nobody. Just the message you kept sending, they were like, King LeBron, King LeBron. Next time they say, King LeBron. Yeah, you were rehearsed to calling him king. We get it. Program. Like, yo, that dude, bro. But yeah, man, that sometimes that whole thing, I said all of that is just not to disrespect your legends. Don't allow them to like tell us that fucking, so and so is better than Sugar Ray Leonard, better than fucking Ali, better than Floyd without them having the shit to back it up. You need to be like a fighter like Saul Canelo Alvarez. See, Saul Canelo Alvarez is not going to go down as the best fighter in history. No. But he has a potential going down as being the best fighter in Mexico. See? You know what I mean? So if you can be the best, at least from where you're from, that's a big enough achievement right there. Now, to be the best fighter worldwide, that's a bigger title. It's a bigger title. And you got to bring something to the table. It's a lot because you understand as an adult, as a child, you really don't understand marketing. You don't understand why they make posters, why they make jerseys that you as a consumer can go and buy. Boxing gloves with the guy's name on it, Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Why is that important? Because you sell products to the consumer. You feel me? So when all this is like, when you're an athlete and you're at that high level like that, man, uh you're in a different fucking atmosphere, bro. You can do shit like that, man. Nah, that shit is different. Um, I can't think of off top about how many fighters that are actually privileged to having like a Michael Jordan S type fucking boxing career. Manny Pacquiao was one of them. Naoya Inoue has to be one of them. They're making fucking action figure dolls after Naoya Inoue. You could buy them in Japan. The boxing guy, you could buy boxing trading cards from him. That's a different status. You know, so yeah. But as far as a fighter actually beating Naoya Inoue, I'm still looking for him. Still looking for him. All the possibilities are there though. It's just who's gonna do it. What's the challenge going to be? But I do know this. He is going to fight Alan David Picasso. And then I think the very next fight is Junto. Junto's getting that fight that he needs, the stay busy fight, which he has to pass that stay busy fight. He gets past that. And then it's on to Naoya Inoue, which I believe that it's going to be in that Tokyo Arena in Japan. And it's going to be them two. And then once he beats Naoya Inoue, once he beats Junto Nakatoni, right? Once he beats him, then I think he'll take a shot at 126. That's when I think he'll take a shot to move up to try to fight like the Nick Balls or whoever's left up there. How long can Espinoza do this for? How long can Espinoza cut that weight and stay at 122 at a 6'1", bro? 6'1". He's 120. He makes 122. I mean, 126. I'm sorry. He makes 126 pounds at 6'1", bro. I'm 5'8" on a tall day. I'm 5'8" on a tall day, a real tall day. I think tall. I'm 5'8", right? I haven't weighed 126 pounds and never worry. I don't, I was like 15 years old, 15, 14 or something. I don't know. 126 pounds, bro. Of course, I've never been 6'1", but I can imagine, my boys, right? Growing up, I was surrounded by tall kids. Whatever water they were drinking, they didn't serve it in my house. No, they didn't. Because Will Watson was 6'3". Gerald was 6'6". Adam was like 6 feet, 6'1". Um, these are all my boys that I grew up with. So they're all 6 feet and taller. So I was always the little dude that, you know what I mean? So um I didn't get none of that water. I don't know what happened. And these Adam, when we were younger, we were at one point in our lives, we were skinny. So I was like, Gerald, how much do you weigh one day? I forget what he was like 190 something. And I said, 190. And I looked at him. I was like, you're a fucking beanpole. He was like, I'm just tall. My skeleton's heavier. So I know that tall dudes, even skinny dudes, they'll weigh a lot. So this is a conundrum with Espinoza. How could you be that tall and make that weight? You would be heavier, wouldn't you, if you were taller? Bro, like the fact that he makes it, like, Jesus Christ, that's so my like, is he gonna still be there at 126? All this time got to go on with David Picasso. Then the fight's got to be built up with Junto, which will probably be in another 4 months. Naoya anyway is fighting like every 4 months now. It's like boom, 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 right back to back. So it'll only probably be 4 or 5 months before he jumps back in the ring with Naoya with Junto. Trust me. He's going on a little run because he wants to retire at 35. He's 32 now, right? That's what Naoya Inoue is, 32. And he wants to make a real big run at the closing part of his career. I think there's not really much for him to accomplish other than the fact that if he wanted to, he doesn't have to do this. But if Naoya Inoue wanted to, he could try to, unify a third time, right? But I think he needs help, a little help. See, when Terrence Crawford did it, he only had to fight one guy, Saul Canelo Alvarez. He only had to fight one guy. He beat that one guy. He got all the belts. See, there's no unified world champion at 126. So he would need a little help. He would need Nick Ball to fight Espinoza or Leo there. He would have to fight, Fulton, or is Fulton coming back down, or who's the champion there? Is Bruce Carrington getting upgraded, or what's going on? So, but whoever's there, my point is they would have to fight each other and at least unify some of these belts. So that if Naoya went in there, fought one guy for one belt, fought the next guy for the two belts, he would only, it would make it a little shorter and more realistic and possibility that he would do that. Chasing down all 4 belts, that can take years to do. But Naoya Inoue unified all 4 belts in his other weight division in 6 months. He already had all 4 belts because he fought 2 guys that had 2 belts apiece. Stephen Fulton had 2 belts, and Marlon Tapales had 2 belts. That's how he would need a little help like that. And then he could probably do it. But who knows? Who knows? Interesting conversations, Let me catch up with you guys. Was it Justin? They trying to use the Berlin to sell the Tio and Shakur fight nasty. Yeah, because at 108, then they're going up 126 to fight Naoya. I know it would be a lot of. Well, I think that would be a lot. That would be a big challenge. It would be a big challenge. But here's my answer to that, to this question right here. Here's my answer to it. If Naoya Inoue can do it, right? I expect these other guys that are at least being compared to beat him, at least do some shit like this. So if I think that Oscar Collazo can potentially give Naoya Inoue one of the best fights, well, then he would have to do some weight division jumping to prove he's on that kind of caliber of fighter. Bam Bam Rodriguez is doing that. Junto is doing that. Junto's a 3-division world champion. See? But you're right. From 108 to 126, a lot of people are not really paying attention to that with Naoya Inoue. They're not acknowledging, damn, bro, that's 6 weight divisions. 6 weight divisions. 108, 108, 112, 115, 118, 122, 126. 6. We gotta like be really like, this dude is not fucking a robot. He's human. He might be maxed out. He might listen. If he came from like 115 and was going up to 126 when started his career at 115, he might be a bigger possibility. But Naoya Inoue has belt in 4 weight division, but he's fighting in his 5th weight division already. At 122, he's in his 5th weight division because he bypassed 1. You know, and in his 5th weight division, he has all 4 belts, meaning look how far his skill and his power translated throughout divisions, pound for pound. Did Tio's power do that? Did Shakur Stevenson's power do that? And skill and everything. Just going up 1 weight division. He's up there in his 5th. Looking like he just started. I'm just saying. How many fighters are we watching in real time, then move up, and all of a sudden, no knockouts? No more knockouts? No. No more highlight reel? No. Skill deteriorating? Tougher fights? Oh, yeah. Getting punched in the face more? Okay. Well, then you're not transitioning at the highest, are you? There's levels to everything in boxing, and there's levels to going up in levels, in divisions. Yes, there is. And Naoya Inoue gets an A+ for every jump of the way. With every performance. He's crushing champions. Walking off with their belts like, thank you very much. I hope you shined it for me. Undefeated champions. Knocking them out, bro. Rodriguez was 19-0 entering the World Series of Boxing. He put that man's lights out. Ain't never been down in the mat. Not even for a standing 8 count. Took him out like that within 2 rounds. He could adapt to everything, Naoya. Anyway, he's just too dangerous, bro. You got to catch him. 2 guys had opportunities, man. Luis Pantera Nari, bro. I would have jumped on him like a spider. I think I would have bit him. Ah! Like, yo, it was just a crazy, yo, I don't know what that would have felt like. You know, forget about just Naoya Inoue, right? But just being in a world title fight and, you know, you're the challenger and you're going in there and you're expected to lose. And in the very first round, you drop the champion. I don't know what that feels like. I can imagine what that would feel like. Your whole life just must flash. Holy shit, did I just do this? Then all of a sudden, he gets up. Ding. You know, did you let the fight come right out of you? Pause. Like, did you, like, sometimes people thought they won the fight and get up on the ropes. And then when they turn around, the guy, and they let the fight. I think that's what happened with Dubois and Usyk the first time. When he got discouraged that he hit him with the body, he thought he won. And he just folded like a fucking lawn chair. I, you know, I can't imagine what that would be like. Two guys had the opportunity. They were this close from fucking winning, but they couldn't do it. And Naoya Inoue showed that it's going to take a lot to beat him. A lot. Just because he's down, he's not out of the fight. You're going to have to keep him down. So could anybody do this? Interesting enough, we thought Terrence Crawford went in. What I believe what makes Terrence Crawford the best fighter in the world is the risk that Terrence Crawford just recently took, where that he jumped up 2 weight divisions to not to fight a world champion, but an undisputed world champion. You cannot ignore that. Naoya Inoue has never done anything like that. He's never fought any jumped up that high to fight a champion that big. So by definition of risk versus reward and the difficulty on your task, Mayweather's Terrence Crawford's difficulty level was way higher than Naoya Inoue's difficulty level. So that's why I got Terrence Crawford as the best fighter in the world currently. And I have Naoya Inoue as the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And then I got Saul Canelo Alvarez as the face of boxing. It's 3 different titles. You can't confuse them. You'll be here fighting all night. You'll be thinking that Terrence Crawford should be the pound for pound. No. Nah. The more skill is Naoya Inoue. The best fighter is Terrence. The face is still Saul. Fighters like Saul, Jake Paul, Tank Davis, those guys, those type guys that gotta model the face for boxing so that in the world, all across the world, if you show his face, people knows what he's attached to. If you were to do that with Terrence Crawford and you show his face in certain parts in the world, they're not gonna know who the fuck he is. They're not gonna. Who the hell is that? But you show a picture of Jake Paul, you show a picture of Saul, you show a picture of Tank. Oh, Tank Davis. Good boxer, Tank Davis. You show who's that? Nowadays, Terrence is a little bit more popular than what he once was. I wonder if that's changing rapidly. I wonder how powerful Terrence's name. That would be a good question to ask. I wish I had like a poll, right? We go like to Spain and shit. We go to like Greece, Germany, Russia, France. And you go out there and you have a picture of Terrence Crawford and just walking down the street, downtown France. Yo, who's this? I would like to see if that changed. And then you have a picture of, on the next one, just flip it, Tank Davis. Who's that? Saul Canelo, good boxer. They're going to know who he is, bro. That dude is fucking worldwide. That's different when you're marketing the face of boxing. The face of boxing is not typically the best fighter in the world. No, he's not the pound for pound. Nope. He's not the best. Nope. But he's just really popular. Ryan Garcia. You could put Ryan Garcia's face up. A lot of people are going to know who the fuck Ryan Garcia is. Trust me. But not a lot of people are going to know who Naoya the Monster Inoue is. And now Monster Inoue is way more accomplished than Ryan Garcia. Way more accomplished than Jake Paul. But they're not going to know who the fuck Monster Naoya Inoue. That's why Monster Naoya Inoue is not the face of boxing. He's not. He got to get more popular. I never would say Naoya Inoue was the face of boxing. You'd be crazy. But he's way more better than all them other guys. Way better. I mean, that's how boxing works. But you got to learn how to separate them. Because there's totally different entities, man. Yeah. Definitely. So, and don't get butthurt. You know what I mean? Oh, no, you're crazy. He's not powerful. Bro, I'm just telling you, man. Naoya Inoue has a better selection. He does a lot of little things way better. And when you go down the line, you're gonna end up where I ended up. If you're honest with yourself, if you're just no, he fought this guy, he fought this guy, nobody knows him, nobody, yeah, shut the hell up, bro. Nobody knows the guys that Naoya Inoue fighting. No, you don't know them. You don't. Don't say everybody else don't. No, you just don't know them because you don't watch that division. Which, with respect, you shouldn't know those guys. So actually, I'm not gonna hold you to that. But if you want to know, nah, he's fighting top guys. Naoya Inoue in his contract, he doesn't fight anybody under 3, ranked number 3 or some shit like that. He won't do it. And then last minute replacements are exactly what they are. You couldn't get the guys you wanted. But when in a Naoya Inoue contract, they start at the number 1 guy. They pick up the phone and they call him. If he says no, they go to number 2. If he says no, they go to number 3. That's the only way Naoya Inoue does a contract. That's it. If he didn't have the belt at the time and he was jumping up, he fights a world champion in the next division. Mind you, he has 4 weight divisions. So each time he did that he vacated his belt in the adjacent division, he fought a champion the next time to use him as a tune-up, to acclimate to the new division he's entering. 4 divisions. He fights the top guys. All of them. He went on a tear. He got Stephen Kubo Fulton was a unified, Marlon Tapale was a unified champion. 2 unified champions back to back. Then the number 1 guy and Luis Pantera Nari. His next fight was another number 1 guy and Sam Goodman. And they couldn't get that fight getting together. And then enter TJ Doheny and then enters Yi Young Kim because this guy didn't want to go. He was the number 1 and not 1 organization, but 2, the IBF and the WBO. Sam Goodman, the number 1 guy. Luis Pantera Nari, the number 1 guy. Alan David Picasso, the number 1 guy. MJ, the number 1 guy. And that's all you're going to do in his resume. So these guys, I don't know any of the guys that he fought there. Shut the... Bro, just know they were all number 1 guys. That's all he was looking for. Every fight, who's the next number 1? Get me him. And then if that guy backs out, then you get guys like TJ Doheny and shit. But it doesn't mean he wasn't going after the number 1 guy. It's all he does. And then throughout his entire career, he might have lost maybe 11, 12 rounds out of all his fights. Out of 31 fights, he lost maybe 12 rounds in his entire career. That means on average, he's losing a half a round probably. A half a round per fight he loses on average. The rest of the rounds he's winning. He's a dominant champion. Like really dominant when you break down what he's doing. Like he was a champion in only 6 professional fights. He was a 2 division world champion in only 8 fights. 8 fights. You can't ignore that. You can't just overlook shit like that and just because you can think it, you can say it out your mouth. Fuck out of here, bro. It's gonna take a lot to beat this guy. I like Oscar Goyazo though. Yeah, I like my boy. Come on, Puerto Rico, baby. I don't know if he'll make it up there. He might be a little too small. Yeah. He could probably fight Bam Bam Rodriguez. That'll be a great fight for Oscar. I think he might be too small for Bam, but you never know. I think Bam Bam Rodriguez is stretching it as it is. You know? I think Junto he's the only one that got enough height. Depending on how he puts on the weight, I think he can go all the way up there to like the 130, 135. So Junto got good height for that. You know, look at Tank Davis. He's 5 foot nothing, 5'5". That's Tank Davis. Esau Pitbull Cruz is all of 5'3", and he's up at 140. And he was the 140-pound champion once upon a time. He got the interim now, but he did have that WBA when he lost it to Rolly. All right? No, he didn't lose it to Rolly. He lost it to, on my bag, he lost it to Jose Valenzuela, El Rayo, the Lightning. You know what I'm saying? El Rayo beat Esau Pitbull Cruz, and then Esau Pitbull Cruz beat the shit out of Rolly. Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's 5'3". That was just my point. So when you're thinking about these guys like Naoya Inoue, oh, they might be too small. Fuck that. Esau's 140-pound champion at 5'3". But Esau, his body mass is different than Naoya Inoue. Naoya got that slender, slim body mass, where Esau Pitbull Cruz looks like a fucking pit bull. His neck is this big, his fucking head like Tank. You know, they're thicker. They got different body structures. That's all. But, you know, I'm always asking that question, pushing the envelope on these fighters, you know, to see who's the best fighters in the world. Right now, man, this fucking Japanese dude, he's just something else. He's him. He's talent. What can I say, man? I wish he was fucking Puerto Rican. Yo, Naoya, come to the Spanish side. You guys don't need him. Let us have him. Yo, man, that he's just fucking good, bro. And I gotta be honest, I wish he was Puerto Rican, though. I do. But no matter what, if he was Russian, France, it wouldn't matter to me. You guys know why I watch boxing. I watch it because every day I want to see and I want to know who is the best fighter in the world. What does he look like? You know, I fantasize on a daily basis of just walk-off knockouts, like this is how I would do it and shit. But at my old age, my body doesn't respond like the way I think. And I was never really like that dedicated of a fighter. Nah. I was more of a troublemaker, street fighter type kid. Never really had not a lot of guidance, no dad at home. And I was just left to my own devices. As I got older, I appreciated the purity of the sport and what it really means to get in there and put on those gloves and spar and train. What are you built like? Me at 51 years old, I'm hopping out of bed, getting into a fight. Because that's what I'm built like. And I don't do it to impress or be better than anybody. It's just that crazy little fighter that lives inside of a lot of boxers and I get it. I get it now. I see why these guys fight in their 40s and their 50s. Sometimes it's not about the money. It's not. And I ask myself, why do you do this? Why? Why? You have a good life, Edwin. You got a great girlfriend. Like you don't gotta prove nothing to nobody. No, I don't. And I'm not trying to. I'm just an old warrior. I got no battle, no fight. Bored as shit. And I see why they get off their couches and they're fighting exhibitions and Mayweather's doing that and Mike Tyson's getting in the ring with Jake Paul. I understand. I understand. You can't turn this shit off. I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off, man. I just think about fighting all the time, man. I don't know what it is. So I do this as an outlet to get it out of my head, the boxing, and to just express it. That's it. Maybe it just helps me in my therapy of what if, because I beat myself up because I never became what I thought I should have become. And I didn't make the right choices in life. I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could tell you, but I'm just the definition of wasted talent. And please hear my message. Don't become me. Don't be scared to take that step. train hard, stay focused, and stay the course. And although I never became the fighter I wish I would have become, I'll reinvent my way to give back to boxing in my own unique way. I'm not embarrassed of it, and I'm okay with it. I learned how to confront my problems and address my fears straight up. I don't feel embarrassed or resentment for the decisions I've ever made. I just know I have to live with them. And what can I do to improve my situation? That's it. That's it. I ain't gonna complicate too much shit. I did that for too many years, and I know I didn't get nowhere with that. So with that, I leave you fight fans. Thank you for tuning in here at Round One Sports Talk. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Drop your comments in the video. Let me know what you guys want to talk about, and we'll interact more. And if you want to get my attention, hit a super chat. It'll really put some color on the screen, and I'll read your message or say your name. And that's what it is. So, fight fans,